Well, that was a game. That was a game. I struggle to find the words to describe a game which we lost 6-4 against the Buffalo Sabres. And in a game where Poppy, Auston Matthews scores another hat trick, his third of the season. We're talking about a loss. Like, let that sink in. Does that not boggle your mind, Armaan? That
Yeah.
we watched another hat trick and it's another damn loss.
Yeah, it was shit. It was awful. I mean, I don't know how much Matthews can do for our team. We have no secondary scoring,
Oh,
just defensively breaking down consistently. And we're talking about a loss against a team that played last night on the road traveling, and they got pumped like 5-1 yesterday too by the Philadelphia Flyers.
mhm.
And they outworked us on pretty much every shift, aside from like maybe a few in the first period. We
Yeah,
looked low energy again, and it's fucking disappointing. We shouldn't have to rely on Matthews scoring at a goal per game pace. He's has 11 goals in 11
oh,
games,
we'll get to that.
and we have a losing record right now.
Yeah, we'll
That's
we'll,
fucking ridiculous.
we'll get to that because our top guys are performing. Our top guys are scoring today. Like, our four goals are from our top guy. Matthew scored three. Marner scored one. Where's our secondary scoring? I thought this was a team that
Doesn't exist.
Tree Livin brought in Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi. He brought in Klingberg, and not only are they not scoring, but we'll
They're
get
also
to
shit
that. Yeah,
defensively.
Klingberg letting that sixth goal go by. Um, a, a moment where we could have used his offensive prowess, so everything that we've heard so much
The
about in
one
terms of
thing
his
he's good
offensive
at.
upside. He makes a weak ass wrister, and Alex Tuck is able to get it scored an empty net. There's a lot to talk about, guys. Here, there's this is gonna be a long episode. There's gonna be a lot of frustrations that are coming out, and we will talk about every single thing. We'll talk about the Matthews hat trick. We'll talk about the atrocious fourth line. We'll talk about the atrocious plays of Klingberg. We'll talk about it all, but let's start from the beginning. Before we get into that, my name's Harnish, Armaan. First time we're joining, we're doing another
Yeah, we're doing it together
game.
this season.
Yeah, the OG host. Appreciate everyone that's in the chat today. There's 125 of you. A lot of you are going to have your pitchforks out, and
Deservedly so.
yeah, deservedly so. And we'll have a presser at the end. If you guys have any questions, throw them out. Armand and I will be on the lookout, and we will have a section especially for you guys at the end where we will cover all of your worries, your concerns, and your anger. No worry about that. Stick to the end. But let's talk about the way that the game started, okay? Because it didn't start that bad, I would say. I mean, the Leafs, they got on
Probably
a
started well, yeah.
yeah, the Leafs got on an early power play, 5 minutes and 14 into the game. Tage Thompson tripping Max Domi, and the Leafs absolutely did everything right. I mean, that first power play unit was absolutely on fire. They had six
Yeah.
shots on goal, very very high scoring chances. They were moving the puck fluidly, opening up the ice, getting a ton of chances. Like I said, they did absolutely everything but score on the power play, right?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
yeah, just like to add to that, the power play was really good. They did pretty much everything but score. I also thought, prior to this game, there was a lot of talk about hitting, physicality. I thought the first periods especially was pretty physical from the Leafs. They looked like they were engaging physically. Yarn
Mhm.
Croak had a nice hit.
I think Lagesson also had one in that
Lagesson
first
stepped up
period.
big
Yep.
in the first period. Kampf was hitting. Like, we were getting hitting from guys that you wouldn't necessarily expect to hit that hard, and it sort of just fizzled out, second period onwards. But in the first period, I actually thought they played fairly well, and they controlled the majority of play. The special teams looked good, at least the power play. We'll get to the PK later, but it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I don't
well.
know.
I mean,
It's tough to talk about now after the game's ended.
oh well. I mean, like, let's talk about the positive, right? After that power play, the Leafs like absolutely ran with it. It seemed like the momentum just shifted, and it's really fun to see how momentum really plays a factor in the way that the game is played, right? Because right after that power play, despite them not scoring, they had the majority of the chances, right? And then Mitch Marner, he was able to get the first goal of the game, right? And it was a Yarncroc. Yarncroc was
It was
able
a
to get a
beautiful
stop off.
pass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, forget about before the pass started. Yarncroc was able to get a stick off of like a shot from the Sabre on the blue line, right?
Yeah.
And after he makes that stop, he's able to collect it. He's able to spot out Marner, who's on a breakaway, and makes a great feed out, right? Marner sticks it top shelf. That is how you start a game. You weren't able to score on the power play, but you kept the momentum going, and you get them in just a couple minutes later, right? That's what you
Yeah.
want to see. That's what we've been talking about. Scoring and starting the game off hot, right?
Yeah, and it was one of the first or one of the few games we've had this season where we scored the first goal. So,
Mm-hmm.
one positive, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is though, like as soon as the or the Sabres get a power play, the Leafs go on a penalty kill for a too many men on the ice, the momentum completely shifts. But I want to get your
Yeah.
thoughts on that actual that actual penalty kill, or sorry, that actual penalty that we took, right? Now,
The too many men
Yarncroc,
call.
yes, the too
Yeah.
many men call. Yarncroc jumps on. He gets three strides in and gets to the puck before the last man swaps off. I believe it was Bertuzzi, right?
Bertuzzi, yeah.
Whose fault do you think it is in this moment? Because the broadcast was very quick to nail Yarncroc to the stake for that
It
misplay.
was both. Bertuzzi took his time getting off the ice, which is annoying,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Yarncroke should know though not to touch the puck that close to the bench. It I don't know. It's a stupid penalty to take. That's it. I think it's both of their faults,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a stupid penalty to take. It's just something that should never really happen. And it happens to the Leafs all the damn time. We take so many too many men calls. And I think it's just a matter of not communicating.
Yeah,
The bench didn't communicate to Yarncroke not to touch the puck because Bertuzzi wasn't, you know, and like it's hard to blame Yarncroke because he gets onto the ice and starts hustling. That's what I want to see. Like I don't know.
exactly.
It's
The
yeah,
reason why I wanted to ask you that was because I thought the broadcast kind of had it wrong there. I agree the onus is on the guy that's coming off the bench. I agree with that. I understand that, but come on, you want to talk about a guy that had killer instinct. The moment he got off the ice, he was ready to
yeah,
go and make a play with that puck. Bertuzzi was just waddling to the bench. I mean, like,
yeah.
come
He needs to
on,
get off quicker.
have a little bit of urgency. It's similar to that. Or I think it was game 2 or game 3 where Adomi was slow to get off onto the bench, and it turned out to be a too many men, or I think it was
Yeah, we'll see that
Willie gets
more.
called for it. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see that more often. I guarantee it.
it
We
was
suck with the too many fan calls.
it was so stupid, and the fact that the Sabres were able to tie it up because of that was just frustrating. It was just so annoying. After all the momentum and whatnot that they had,
Yeah,
but the Sabres, that goal, I mean, absolutely textbook, right? Like just spreading the ice, making good clean passes, having a big screen up front. It was just a very easy textbook goal, right? I can't really blame Wolf for
yeah,
not being able to cover up the post because he had a freaking unit of a guy in front of
yeah.
him.
I would have liked the Leafs D to maybe move Okposo around a little on that.
Uh,
It's an outside shot, so I understand why the Leafs want the Sabres to take that. But when Okposo's in front of him, and he's just no Leaf is really engaging physically with Okposo on that goal.
mm,
And he's a big guy, and Wool had to peek around him, and it goes under Wool's arm because of it. Like I didn't think it was a bad PK, but I just thought that Okposo probably could have been maybe boxed out a little better, or at
mhm.
least tried to box out at least. But yeah, I hate talking about this game. I'm so angry with this team.
Don't worry, don't
Like
worry.
it's
You know what you got coming for you? A ton of more pain. Don't worry. We got to talk about everything that happens. And right after that that power or that goal by the Sabres, I mean, like I just talked about momentum shift, and the momentum absolutely shifted in the Sabres' favor. They had like 5 shots on goal, some really high scoring chances. Wall had to make some pretty acrobatic saves.
Yeah,
Luckily, we got on a power play with like a couple seconds left in the period, right? I think it was like
yeah. It was
12.
about a minute.
Yeah, it was like 1926, something like that, tripping that Thompson takes on Marner.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, sweet. We're gonna end off the period on a power play, and we're gonna start the next period on a power play. What should we do? Come out on the gas pedal, right? Just absolutely take control of the game and carry momentum. Something that I
yeah,
really want to harp on about this momentum, right? And guess what they did when they started the second period? They got 1 shot on goal with
yeah.
still a minute and a half.
Credit the Sabres. Well, firstly, Levi just absolutely robbed Matthews in the last minute
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we were on the power play. Credit to the Sabres, they adjusted really well to clog up the neutral zone and play a super aggressive PK in the second period, because the first period we were gaining the zone pretty easily, and it's clear that the Sabres made an adjustment going into period 2. With that being said, we also had a full period intermission to talk about how we're going to do that power play, and it looked goddamn awful going into it. So yeah, no, it looked pretty awful. The start of the second period, I thought, was they just took away the neutral zone and we couldn't get any sort of entry, and that sort of carried over into future power plays.
Oh, what happened next, right? No, but I just want to say, like, I understand when you say that the Sabres maybe played a little bit better or locked down on their PK, but come on, the way that the Leafs looked in their first in their first power play, like nothing. You got 2 shots on goal. The second period you start off, you're on the power play, and you get 1 shot on goal in a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was a pretty weak shot too, to be
Come
honest. And
on.
yeah, they just couldn't get anything going.
It was
And,
it was
they just couldn't get anything going.
egregious. Yeah, and then and then we'll talk about the shit show that happened 2 minutes later. The where I was holding my heart. I was just absolutely terrified of what was gonna happen. The Leafs go on or the Sabres get a 2-man advantage. Camp goes for a holden penalty 2 minutes and 16 seconds in.
Yeah.
And the broadcast mentioned that the Leafs were actually in a good defensive position at this point, and it was a risky, unnecessary play by Camp. I didn't actually catch that. Did you have any thoughts, or did you maybe notice
Yeah,
that?
I mean, it was a penalty. Like, Kempf just played it a little too aggressively. I thought, the broadcast was right in saying that he didn't really need to reach
Uh,
in that play. We did have pretty good defensive positioning, and the Sabres really didn't have anything going. Uh, I don't mind it too much. He just got the arm around him. It's a call. It's a call.
it is
Like,
a call. It
it's
is a
definitely
call.
a penalty, but,
Yeah.
I wasn't too mad at that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just
And
want
the,
to get your thoughts on that. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
and the Marner penalty, I also thought was just whatever. Like, I didn't mind it as well. Like, it's a slash, but half the time they don't call that.
Yeah.
And
So
no one knew. No one knew on the ice who got the fucking call. Puck was going to the penalty box as if he got the slash. So it's clear that, like, it wasn't like a clear penalty. It is a penalty, but sometimes those don't get called, especially 5-on-3.
Yeah, I
So
actually think that's a good point, and I kind of want to bring this up because this is something that I noticed with a lot of fan anger, right? There's been a lot of discourse lately about how penalties are like the Leafs are taking soft penalties, things that it looks like the other team is faking or acting or whatnot when they which nails like the Leafs, right? I think that happened against the Kings a couple times, a couple games ago, and then today, I saw some tweets saying that Darlene, like he just let go of his stick as soon as Marner like lightly taps him on the glove or whatnot, right? Now, I think you guys gotta understand, for the people that are angry about that, right? It's still a penalty, right? I am totally okay with players essentially faking it because you can do that.
no,
Listen.
no, you can't fake. No, fuck that.
No, listen. I don't think the Leafs can do that too. right? Like
I
this
mean,
this
yeah, but
isn't
when you
something
look at
that
Bunting
can
and
only,
Kadri,
yeah, this
they did
isn't
do that.
something that can only happen against the Leafs, right? The Leafs can take advantage of that. Do I think that it's a crap thing that happens? Of course, right?
I
But
don't
it's
even think
part of the
Dahlin.
game, and the Leafs can take advantage of it too. If they're not taking advantage of it, then who's to blame here?
I mean, I don't even think Dahlin like embellished that at all.
It was
Like,
kind of soft. I mean, it was a little tap, and he let go of the stick.
I'm pretty sure wasn't it Marner that lost the stick?
No, I think it was Darlene. I think it was like a tap.
Okay,
Darlene lost the
I
stick or
don't know,
whatnot there.
but nonetheless, I like it's a part of the game. I had no issues with that penalty call. And honestly, like the 5-on-3, I thought the Leafs played it like super well.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
penalty
They
kill, like
completely
that was
shut
a
them down.
tough penalty kill, and Wall had a tough night, but he was really good on that penalty kill. So
I also want
yeah,
to point out, like, the other guys around him, Yarncroc, Gio, Brody, they killed a full minute of the 5-on-3.
yeah,
And then later on, Riley, Gio, Lagesson got the rest of that 30 seconds. Let's take a moment to understand that the Leafs killed a minute and 30 seconds,
yeah,
like, two
of a
men
five on
down.
three. Yeah,
Exactly. That's a
it was a tough
really,
kill.
yeah, that's a really good thing, and that's a really hard thing to do. Not only did they use their bodies fucking fantastically, getting in the shooting lanes, blocking some great shots, but they were able to reduce angles. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like Wall didn't make any like desperate saves. It was
No,
some very standard saves, and a lot of the shots were also blocked by our D man as well, right?
yeah, and also Wall did a really good job of controlling rebounds on that penalty kill. We could have been stuck on the ice for a decent amount of time with, our penalty killers being really tired.
Hmm.
But there was a few stoppages in play because Wall had some really good rebound control there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what follows is
this is where the
this is where
problems happen,
it all
right?
goes downhill.
Exactly, exactly.
Like,
This is
we hate
where
this team.
the shit show happens. Like I thought after this two-man advantage penalty that the Leafs killed, all the momentum was going to be with them, right? They just killed off a massive penalty, and not only that, they get a great scoring chance themselves right after, right? Nyes drops a pass to Matthews at the center line. Matthews driving fast. Olofsson recognizes that this is a very dangerous play. You got one of the best goal scorers out
Yeah,
pretty much on a breakaway, and he slashes on Matthews' gloves. Um, and the Leafs
Matthew
are
still
on.
got a great shot off,
Yeah,
like on that chance too. That was a
fantastic,
nice shot.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But we got on a power play, right? I'm like, holy shit, we got this. We killed the penalty, great chance, and now is the time we take the lead.
Yep, you got the momentum, killing off a 5-on-3, getting a power play. This is the time to, maybe connect on a pass.
But no, Marner fumbles a pass, breaking out of their zone, breaking
It's
out of
a
the zone.
and like Marner, it's an unacceptable play on Marner's part, but it's also a horrible pass for Matthews to make because Marner doesn't really have a ton of room to go there,
Mm-hmm.
and Thompson plays it aggressive. Tate Thompson, like credit to him as well. He read that perfectly. It's a fucking stupid play to make when you were the two last people back. Like
Yeah,
what
the
the
drop back
hell
pass
were they
with
thinking?
nobody back behind you.
And part of why we put Matthews and Marner on the penalty kill is because they are offensively gifted
Mm-hmm.
guys, and the other power play has to think twice about making a play when they're there because they can burn you. Tage Thompson is also that guy. He is that guy. He's amazing. Why the fuck are you making that play and turning it over to Tage fucking Thompson on a breakaway, short-handed? Of course he's gonna score that. The fuck was that?
It was
Stupid,
so
costly, and unforced
stupid.
mistakes consistently burn this team.
Exactly. You took the words
Pisses
out
me
of
off.
my mouth. Like this was absolutely ridiculous. Wall, like, full credit to him. He almost saved that too. Did you see that?
I know.
He
I
was
feel
able
bad for
to
Wall.
get like his arm closed down. It trickles slightly over. He tries to reach back, couldn't
He
get
hit
to
it
it.
in,
This
hit
team
it in
let him
himself.
down on that. Oh my god. And
And like,
let's
listen,
can we
yeah, go
talk
ahead.
about the actual drop back pass? Like
I hate it.
Lauren has been really against this, to say the least. What are your thoughts on this? Because I absolutely hate it. And everyone in chat, what do you guys think about this as well? I think a lot of them also don't like this
The
whole
drop
play.
pass is okay if it's deceptive in some way. because
Mhm.
it allows your players to enter with speed. We saw it sort of utilized, on the next goal, on the next Leafs power play
They
goal
had two
when
guys
Matthews
back
scored.
behind though. It wasn't like a
Yeah,
complete like they were the
it,
last two guys back, and the guy that's going to drop back to is the last player
it's
there.
so easy to read with the Leafs because it's just they do it every time, and so you don't have any deception. Tage Thompson can stay back, knowing they'll drop pass
Mhm.
and potentially pick it off. And like, I don't know, it's a stupid play, but like beyond that, it's just something that I don't expect from our two best players. Matthews and Marner should have the sense, both offensively and defensively. These guys are smart
Mhm.
hockey players. That's a bad pass for Matthews to make, and Marner just needs to deflect that to the outside rather than try to go back to Matthews with, Tage Thompson, a guy who has like a 6'7" reach. They're fully able to block that, and just
Ah,
it's stupid. It's stupid. It was a stupid play, and it ends up costing us. And in a game where we lose by 2 goals, one of them an empty net, those types of stupid plays that end up losing us the game.
exactly.
Fucking
Exactly.
ridiculous.
It was absolutely horrendous. Let's move on a little bit into the halfway point of that period. Jordan Greenway takes a hook and penalty on TJ Brody. The Leafs are back on the power play, and at this point, not only are they 0-3 on the power play, but they also
Negative one
let
and
in
three.
one goal. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But this time the Leafs try something different to like exactly what you said, right? They tried the drop pack, but this time they had two guys back, obviously. But they also exited the neutral zone with a ton of speed, right? Marner and Nylander, they're able to catch the Sabres lacking. I'm not sure if they even recognize that the Leafs were gonna try that play, right?
Yeah.
Nylander gets a pass off to Matthews, who's all alone in front, and he buries a 5-hole, right? Um,
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. That's what you kind of want to see. What did you think about like the changes that they made to be able to, I guess, capitalize on this power play versus the last
It
one?
was like textbook on how to play against an aggressive PK. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was a really smart adjustment, and credit to our power play coaches and also the team on making that adjustment. They
Yeah.
entered with speed and it paid off pretty much instantly. I think it was like 17 seconds into that power play
Yeah.
where we were
Early.
able to yeah, get, you know, tie the game up. Yeah, it was perfect. It was nice to see because, it's sort of a bounce back for both Matthews and Marner who connected on that goal as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Matthews getting that was his first of the night. But you mentioned 17 seconds into that power play, right? 30 seconds later, after that goal, what happens? Before the announcer is done announcing the Matthews goal, I'm pretty sure Mike Ross, he probably missed the damn goal because he was reading his sheet. Jeff freaking Skinner puts in the back, um, and brings the Sabres back up by one. Now, Armaan, I gotta ask you about this fourth line because as soon as they like essentially started off after that Matthews goal, what the fuck was I looking at? And they
I'm not
continued
even
that leaky look the entire time or
I'm
the
not
rest of
even
the
going to
game.
blame the fourth line on that goal because we know what they are. Why the fuck, after scoring a goal where the power play was only on for 17 seconds,
Uh huh.
did Keefe put out the fourth line in the third pairing of like two AHLD men out there? You
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact the Sabres are going to put out their good players because their good players are not playing the PK. Like Skinner is not a PKer. They're going to put out the PK. Also, we had home ice advantage, so we knew who they were putting out. What the fuck are we thinking here? Why are you putting out the fourth line and the third pairing? Why? Like, what's the purpose there? You have a chance to build momentum. Your elite players just had a short shift on the power play where they scored like instantly. Why are we not capitalizing on that momentum? Why are we putting out the fourth line and the third pairing? Like, of course it's not going to work out. And it instantly doesn't. Like, it's
Ha-
such a stupid mistake for Keefe to make. Such a dumb ass mistake. And again, it's unforced. You had ready guys. They were not tired.
Mhm.
Stupid. It's dumb.
Yep.
Stupid decision making.
It's funny because we're gonna talk about a similar crappy decision by Keefe just a bit later as well, into the third. Don't worry about that. We'll get into that even more. But yeah, just
Credit to 1 second. Just on that goal, credit to Ryan Johnson. It's his first career point on
there
the
you go.
Sabres in his first NHL debut, because of course it's
Of
against the Leafs.
course,
So
against the Leafs, right? All of you guys, I
should have bet on that, man.
got.
Found money.
Sounds like you're a little tilted, Armaan, huh?
I am tilted. This is a stupid game. I hate hockey. It was a mistake.
Hey, let's go into the third period because maybe this will soothe your pain a little bit. Auston Matthews, 17 seconds into the third period, he ties the game up. Let's go.
Hooray. I
Martin
wonder
makes
how
a
long
play
it
behind the
lasts.
net, backhand pass to Matthews who ties it up. Fantastic, but the great part, 3 minutes later, the Sabres, they bring it back. Peterka centering a shot, goes off
God.
the skate of Marner, drops off to Middlestead. Wall makes a good stop
Wall
on
makes a
that.
great save on that, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic stop on the first shot, but of course it deflects to Greenway, who's able to score it. Like, of course. I mean, I can't even blame the Leafs on that. It's just like
I can.
stupid deflections after deflections. All right, tell me what the
I can
problems were
blame
on that.
him. Okay, so this was a tough game for Wall overall. Like, I didn't think he had a great game, and even on the Skinner goal, it was a clean slapper from like around the hash marks. That's one I would have liked to have him back. It's tough to blame him for a lot of goals today. Like, there were 5 goals on him, and I wouldn't say any of them were that bad, you know, like in terms of his play. This was a really good first stop by Wall, and it only got there because John Klingberg, I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't covering the passing lane very well. And then, it deflects off Marner's skate. That's not Marner's, fault.
Yeah.
Wall makes a great save. And then Klingberg is still just standing there doing fuck all, not taking anything. And he's literally standing upright as Greenway takes the shot. And he doesn't even think to try and block it. He's just standing there, like, doing nothing. Like, absolutely fucking nothing. I don't know what he was thinking in this play. He's useless in the defensive end. He's fucking useless. He didn't clear the rebound. He didn't take the man, and he didn't block the shot. What the fuck are you doing there? You didn't block the passing lane either. There was like 7 defensive things you could have done in that play, and he just stood there like a fucking pylon.
Now, what do you think he, or I guess even Tree Living, does about Klingberg? Because this is an issue. Klingberg is someone we've been talking about for God knows how long now, right? I mean,
we knew what Klingberg was before.
Yeah, but he's not even contributing that much offensively either.
Like
what's the positive at this point?
Klingberg has his moments where you see positives in him.
Yeah,
like,
in the power play,
he makes a great first pass. He's decent on the power play. I don't know what he was thinking on the empty net, but we'll get to that later. There are positives to Klingberg. We knew of his negatives going into the season. We knew he was shit in the defensive end. He's always been shit in the defensive end. This isn't unexpected. Do we need more scoring from the back end? Yes. Does it suck that John Klingberg is now playing top 4 minutes because we have injuries? Yes. This is not the ideal position for him to be in. But we have to live with it. Like, he's getting $4 million. We're not I'm just happy it's just a 1-year deal. Just like all of True Living signings. Like, they've all sucked ass. I'm sorry. Like, they've all sucked ass.
Absolutely,
I was optimistic about them. They've all sucked ass. We're not getting the secondary scoring from any of them that we want. We're not getting the grit from any of them that we want. And we're not getting any sort of defensive output, which was expected. But still, it fucking sucks when you're not getting any of the good shit that they do. And Klingberg is struggling there, but it's expected. Like, everyone fucking expected this.
But my whole point is the one upside that we got Klingberg for, his offensive upside, right? His playmaking, right? There's so many plays where I see he's making just absolutely brain turned off plays, right? We'll talk about the Alex Tuck goal, the open net, or the empty net, goal that absolutely buried us, right?
Yeah.
But There's so many times in every single game I've noticed where he makes either a stupid play, he's not able to get a pass off, and he's just not able to contribute. If anything, it goes off of him, goes the other way, and the other team has a chance. I haven't seen enough offensive upside to even say that, hey, like, I understand that he was not supposed to be a defensive juggernaut. I understand that he's not supposed to be essentially even contributing anything on defense. But offensively, he's not even pulling his weight there. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's been
what can you
shit.
do?
And like the issue is like we know like these are known quantities. When we look at guys like Klingberg, Bertuzzi, and Domi, they're known quantities. You know, we know what they are, and even Reeves. We know exactly what they are. The fact that none of them are producing offensively, and it sort of points me towards an issue with integrating them within our lineup and our systems that I think
And who does that lie on now? Who does that go back to at the end of the day?
I have no idea. I'm
It goes
done
to
making
Keefe.
theories about this
It
team.
goes to Keefe.
But
If
like,
Keefe is unable to integrate these guys into their lineup, they've had what, 10 games now, 11 games to
How?
integrate these guys. Are you telling me that he is as one of the top paid coaches, one of the best coaches on one of the best teams in the NHL, he is not able to make this work? You have Tyler Bertuzzi, you have Max Domi, Klingberg, whatever. you have these guys. You're not able to integrate them well enough into the team to see any offensive upside. Are you kidding me? This is an absolute coaching nightmare.
I mean, listen,
He has to be the first person on the cutting block for this.
But none of them are doing anything. Like, we don't know the inner dynamics of the team, but none of them are fucking doing anything. Like, why is Bertuzzi shooting on that empty net? Like, is that a systems issue? Because that's, like, even if the system was, hey, get Klingberg the shot, he has to see a fucking wall of defenders in front of him, knowing full well that we know that he has offensive smarts, Klingberg. We've seen it in Dallas. You know? We've seen it.
I don't care. Years. I don't want to. I'm not looking back at those. I'm looking at the sample size that we saw on our team, and right now,
I agree. None of them are working. That he's been shit. But what I'm saying is, I can't blame Keefe for Klingberg making a boneheaded move on the empty net goal. Like, how can you blame Keefe there? That's a stupid play for Klingberg to make.
I understand, but there has to be bigger repercussions for that kind of stuff, right? This all of this, and the whole point is when you are working in a system, the blame goes to the manager, no matter what. The whole situation that we saw with the Leafs, like last game where Lillier and like the team just shows absolutely no fucking heart or nothing to see one of their guys get hurt.
It was dog shit.
Yeah, and I understand that the Leafs out there should have like actually made an effort to do something about it, but Keefe also should have been forcing that from the bench.
Yeah, I mean,
he had a chance to talk to his team, tell them that we gotta, whatever you want to do, like make a statement that you can't do this and you can't get away with it. That goes back to Keefe as well. He is not. My point is like this was an issue
back with Babcock as well. You know, this team has never showed that type of heart. It was always a mentality of, well, you know, we bite them on the power play or whatever. And like Keefe came out of that game being like he hated that. Like, it's clear that Keefe did not want the team to show zero heart. I agree that that's on the manager and or on the coach and whatever. That's true, but it's also on the play. Like, I can't blame Keefe for Bertuzzi looking like dick and Domi looking like dick and Klingberg looking like dick. They just.
So who do you blame though? Like, this is like you've been saying, right? This has been an issue ongoing for a long time, right? We've made changes to our secondary group. The core four has stayed the same, or five if you include Riley in there, right? They've stayed the same. Shanahan has stayed the same. We've had a change in Dubas. It's only been a couple games in, right? Keefe has stayed the same for a couple seasons now. Who do you blame then? Because there has to be, like, this has to be answered. Questions have to be answered. There needs to be
accountability. Listen, Keefe is to blame. I 100% agree.
Thank you.
What I'm saying is firing Keefe and bringing someone else in, I don't think this team is fixed.
I don't think so either. But
that's all I'm saying. It's like this, like the way this roster is structured. You know, like, why do we have?
Thank you. The way the structure is structured. Structured. Sorry, I was in the middle of drinking water as you said it, and I was like, he got it.
Yeah, no,
This
like I
was an
agree. There
issue
is
that we knew was gonna be an issue, or the personnel issue that we've all talked about. Nothing of that changed. The only thing that changed was Dubas. We ended the Florida series saying heads had to roll, changes had to be made, then Dubas falls, and we forget about the rest. And we assume that because one person fell, the rest of it's going to change. That's not how it works. There
I mean, yeah,
wasn't
I
enough
agree.
change. You got
But
the secondary scoring, yeah. Like if these guys they get the snot, they get the secondary scoring that we
any
expect out of them.
secondaries.
Maybe it's different, but at this moment, I got to work with what I'm seeing, and I'm not seeing enough.
Yeah, but they like for example, with Klingberg's, uh like time on ice today or his deployment, we're injured. There's very few options we have on the back end. We
Mm-hmm.
had Legason and Lajoie in today, like, and they performed all right, like to their credit, but we're injured. You're gonna have to rely more heavily on NHL guys,
Yeah.
and like listen, I'm not a big fan of Keefe right now. I think very few people in the Leafs fandom are at
Mm-hmm.
this point, but it's just like I see it as a personnel issue. I don't know what we could put together as a fourth line with Reeves out there if that would be effective. Like it's just not really possible. They let in 2 goals tonight, 2 goals against again. They've been
Well,
shelled. They've let in like 8 goals to 0-4
yeah.
through the season. And there's been a few people centering that line. You got Holmberg, you got Kemp, but like who do you put there?
That so
It's
okay.
ass.
That's another point that I want to get to. Let's kind of talk about. I want to talk about that second last goal, Alex Tuch's first goal, right? That's goal number
Yeah.
5, I believe, for the
Yeah,
Sabres, right?
when it hit the shoulder.
Yeah, the Sabres. They're, I mean, hemming the Leafs in their own zone for a couple shifts there, right? Paterka gets a couple chances, including a breakaway, and luckily the Leafs don't let that go in. And then finally, like eventually, something was gonna break, and Darlene takes a hard slapper, goes off of Tuck's shoulder, and goes past Wall. Now in this play, in this situation where the Leafs gave up that goal, right? We had our fourth line, Reeves, Holmberg, and Nyes on the ice with 7 minutes left in the game, a
Yeah,
tied game,
stupid.
high scoring chances. You put out those guys, and let me just read a little bit of the stats, right? Because it looks like Keefe doesn't even trust these guys in the first place because Ryan Reeves only had 7 minutes and 50
Yeah,
seconds
he should
of
never
playing
be
time.
above 8 minutes.
Exactly. Holmberg also 8 minutes, right?
Holmberg's better in my
These
opinion.
guys,
Yeah.
like Keefe doesn't trust them in the first place. Why is he putting them out in these situations where it looked like the Sabres were essentially just shifting between the top pairing to try to get something going? Why are we putting our fourth line against them?
Yeah, especially because the Sabres really like fought pretty hard after we gave up that goal, and I think Wall stopped the breakaway and stuff. Like we were on the back foot
Mm-hmm.
already. In my notes, I just put fourth lines out. Oh God! And then the next note, Tuck scores 5-4. Just like yeah, I think everyone expected that. The moment we see the fourth line out with the Sabres putting out, I don't know what line Tuck's on, but I think it's the second.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, what do you do? What do you do with Reeves? Like,
He's on the
if
he's on the
you're,
first line. I think he's with Greenway and Thompson. I
yeah,
believe. Yeah, yeah, first line.
but like, what do you do with Reeves? Like, to me, it's like send him down. If he's not hitting, if he's not fighting, he's worthless. He's
Yes,
absolutely fucking worthless.
thank you.
And I don't mean like send him down to the AHL. Have him be on the fucking like if we want him to be a voice in the room, yeah, just healthy scratch him. What's the point of him?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, I completely agree
What's the
with you.
point of him?
I
Like
literally have no answer, and I mean I think a lot of Leafs fans were pretty excited after that Habs game where he had that first fight in his
the
first
first
game.
2 or 3
But
games,
yeah,
he had value because he was out there like shifting momentum with big
exactly.
hits or fights. He hasn't done that since game 2.
He's done absolutely nothing. And I
It's
got some notes
dumb.
on the Liljegren hit, right? So Reeves states Reeves, sorry, he was asked about it, and he said, "We talked about it, we addressed it in the room. Uh, it will be a change moving forward." Right? Um, he did absolutely nothing. I understand that the Toronto didn't have the last line change in that game against the Bruins. Uh, but doing absolutely nothing? Are you kidding me? Like he is
Also, like,
absolutely he's
why
such
do
a he's such a detriment to this team, like in terms of offensively, defensively. Like I think it was in the Kings game where he was caught absolutely sleeping, where one of the guys scored. If you look back in one of in our game over, I absolutely ripped him a new one with Lauren on that episode. It, it's
it,
it's
what blows my mind is firstly the fact that they needed to have a meeting to like go over being like, hey, we should do something about that. How are you not instantly mad
oh
that fucking Brad Marchand took out Liljegren? Like,
yeah.
why do you need a meeting? As a fan, we were all like, fuck Brad Marchand instantly. Someone fight him. And on the ice, they were just like Tyler Bertuzzi was laughing on the bench and shit. Like, what the
Ugh.
fuck? Like, what is happening? Why do you need a meeting? That is not
Yeah.
a meeting.
It's
Like,
it's
what
wild.
is
It's
going
wild.
on with this team? Yeah,
Listen, there's a lot.
I don't
There's a
know, man.
lot.
If Reeves is not fighting someone, he's worthless. He's like legitimately a detriment to this team. And that fourth line has been shit the entire season, and it's something you could put up with if they're shifting momentum with a good checking line,
Hmm.
and just hasn't existed. And if he was a rookie, if Reeves was a rookie, he would be fucking AHL fourth line by this point. Like he would not be getting any time. The
Yeah.
fact is that like the only reason anyone is giving him any sort of look in is because of his personality in the league, you know?
And
That's it.
tell me you
Like,
need to essentially give up one roster spot, a guy that's a detriment to your team. When he's on the ice, you watch with one eye closed because you're nervous about what kind of shit show is gonna happen, what he's gonna give you. Tell me you need that to bring up the atmosphere or the mood of a locker room. Like, where's the rest
especially
of our management in this? Where's the rest of our leadership guys? Like,
especially when we need
come
secondary
on.
scoring. We
Yeah,
like
you
the
can't use
last
up a
time
roster spot on that.
the last time a Leafs forward outside of the core four and Matthew Nyes has scored at even strength was Noah Gregor, the first goal of the fucking season.
That's a fantastic stat, by the way.
That was
Holy
from Jeff
crap.
Villette on Twitter. Like, that is stupid. That is so fucking dumb. Like, like honestly, at this point, I'm like, why don't we have Nick Robertson on this roster
Yeah,
instead of Reeves?
if
Like,
the
seriously,
Leafs
we need
need.
secondary scoring. I understand we lose a bit of, grit or whatever, but that's not our issue right now.
Yep,
Our
yep.
issue is Matthews is getting a fucking hat trick, and we can't fucking win. Matthews has 3 hat tricks, and we have a losing record right now. That's stupid. That
Yeah.
is so fucking dumb.
Well, let's talk about the hat trick. Before we get to that, we're gonna be talking about the presser, guys. So there's 125 of you guys still watching. Thank you guys for all watching live. Appreciate every one of you guys staying and listening to this after the Leafs showed that doo-doo on the ice. If you guys have any questions, be sure to drop them down below. Write it in the chat, and we will be pulling them up soon. Yeah, I think a good way to finish off on the game is talking about that Matthews goal, because yes, he had another hat trick today. I don't think this, like, people are understanding the insanity of this. 3 hat tricks in 11 games, his 10th career hat trick, and it's funny.
Ridiculous.
He scored 11 goals this year. In the 5 games that he has scored a goal, 3 of them have been hat tricks.
Yeah.
He in his games that he scored goals, like, he's had more hat trick winning or hat trick goal games than just one. How insane is this stat? This guy is just like racking up those hats like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. I think the most hat tricks in a season for a Leaf is 5.
5?
So
Oh, yes, 3.
he's got a chance to beat that. Yeah.
Would you
Yeah,
bet
it's,
against it?
No, I bet for that. Are you kidding me? There's
Exactly.
still like fucking 70 games on the season.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm 100% betting for that. But
He gave them every chance today, and the rest of the team, they quite frankly let him down, whether it's not getting any secondary scoring or just
Yeah,
like,
the one good player I would say tonight out of all of the non-core, guys, it was like Noah Gregor. I thought he utilized again his speed on the rush. He had a couple chances. He doesn't have great finishing talent, but he does what he does well.
he had 2 great chances to start the game off.
Yeah, and he hit twice in like one shift at the first period, and that was like That's what I want from, guys like Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi, and they're just not fucking doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, Max Domi. To be fair, Max Domi had an amazing save,
Mm-hmm.
goal line save after Wall fumbled it behind the net. Like that was credit to Max Domi. That is the amount of effort I want to see on the back end defensively. But yeah, that was like the first useful thing he's done in a while. So it's hard to really give him his roses. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Well,
this team
Armaan,
is rough right now,
it
man.
is very rough. It is very rough. Now we got some questions coming in right now. The first one: is it time to call up Robertson?
Yes.
What do you think, huh?
He scored again today. I think the Marlies won something like 5-0 or something. So, uh, yeah, he's got a good shot. That's something I want to see from anyone other than Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander.
Or
Just
I
get
would throw up
some
anyone in there. Just
forward.
make some kind of change. Just show that there's some kind of repercussions to
Yeah,
having
some sort of
bad
accountability for just
games.
being
Like
shit and also not
exactly.
having any energy.
I
Like,
don't mind if this kicks Reeves like up a gear and he comes back better, more like driven or whatever. But just having him play out the way that he has been right now and just constantly securing his spot is just not doing anyone any favors.
there's also McMahon. He can be called up too. Like there
Yeah.
are fourth line, and like you don't want to call up Nick Robertson and put him on the fourth line. That really wouldn't work all that well.
Mhm.
Just given his size and the way he plays. But
Abrazazi,
like,
where does he play? Is he a left or right?
he's a left shot center,
Mm,
or left wing. He plays
okay.
both. But like he also, I wouldn't necessarily put on a fourth line. But like McMahon plays that checking role decently well. He has a good possession game. Like there are options here. We
Mhm.
don't need to stick Reeves in. We don't need to stick anyone who isn't playing good in. There are fucking options in the AHL.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous that we're having to put up with absolute dog shit. You're on the ice for 7 minutes and you give up 2 goals. And this is a consistent thing for 11 games. Like that's it. Your leash is done. Like no matter who you are, your leash is gone.
Mhm.
Uh, so unless Reeves comes out and does something for the team behind the scenes that, you know, actually shows in the game,
Yeah.
then what's the point of him?
See, a
You
guy in
know?
the chat, ehip, he makes a good point, right? He says, "What would Robertson do? They scored 4 goals and lost." And I agree with them, right?
Yeah,
Now
100%. Like I understand that Robertson isn't a defensive guy, but he would
it's
provide
gonna
some
be
secondary
better than.
scoring. We are not going to expect Auston Matthews to get a hat trick every game. It's not going to happen.
Well, okay. So, what do you fix defensively about this team then? Because I know we have a ton of our defense out right now, right? But it's not
Yeah.
like our defense looked like fabulous when we had our guys in either, right? I
No, I
don't think
agree.
this is a cup winning or even like a like getting past the second round winning defense. Do you think there are
Well, that's
changes
what
that need to be made
happens.
or what?
That's what happens when, as a team, we lose out on guys like Alex Kerfoot. And Alex Kerfoot was very frustrating, but he was defensively solid.
Hmm.
And we lose out on a bunch of other forwards that's like Pierre Engvall, who are defensively responsible, and we replace them with guys that don't really play defense or commit to defense all that much in place for secondary scoring.
Hmm.
When that secondary scoring doesn't come, it looks so much fucking worse because they suck defensively. We
Hmm.
suck defensively. Like, there's not. I don't think that's gonna change. The good guys who are good defensively have been playing fine defensively. The
Hmm.
guys we all expected to be shit defensively are shit defensively.
Hmm.
There's not much you could do about that.
But do you think then there has to be a trade made, or are we just gonna like wipe our hands? This season's done. We're just gonna
No,
play
I
out
mean
with
we're
the
not we're
defense that
not
we have.
saying the season's
Well,
done.
you
That's
know what I mean, though. Like, are we just gonna accept that this is the best showing that our defense is gonna have? Like, maybe slightly improve a bit, or do you want to see a change being made?
I would like to see a change made. Yeah, I would like to see a change made. And the reason being is like when I look at a guy like Klingberg, Connor Timmins does a lot of what he does, and he has a lot of the same defensive inefficiencies where you can really only play him in a sheltered third pairing role, otherwise he'll get cooked.
Hmm.
But he costs like $3 million less, and he's our seventh D man. Like I'd be perfectly fine with trading Klingberg away for a solid defensive player. and then just putting Timmins in the lineup and utilizing him. Like he was, how many points did he get last season in a
Yeah.
very short amount of games? I don't know.
And he had a
I don't
fantastic
know.
preseason
Like
too. He's looking like he's pretty. He's getting close, right?
he's close,
Hasn't there
but
been
like he's
reports
still a
saying he's
ways
like
away.
day to day soon or
I
something?
would like to see us maybe test him out when
Hmm.
he's back. You know, I think Liljegren and McCabe are huge losses to our defensive play,
Hmm.
and so not having them makes it a little tough. Um, but Legason and Lajoie did good in the limited time they had together. Like, and it's tough even with your defenseman if you don't have that forward, commitment to playing defense, and that's just not been there with every forward, especially that fourth line. You know, like Kampf is the most defensive minded center there is, and there's not much you can do when you're saddled with, Reeves.
Hmm.
It's pretty much like playing a man down.
Hmm.
So I would say, Reeves' cap hit is pretty much variable. Just bury it. That's on Keefe to do now. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know what voice Reeves has in the room, but I don't really give a shit. It's clearly not translating to good on ice play for anyone. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you really
I
want a
know
guy
that's
to
why he
set
was
up some
brought in,
parties, I
but
will gladly do that for you.
like, and like we talk about how like the Leafs aren't they're quiet on the bench or whatever, and that's why Reeves was brought in. It's just not translating to anything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not translating to anything. Like it's just bad. It's just bad.
I truly think that the non-reaction, I guess, from that Liljegren hit or injury against the Bruins, I think that is the I think that broke the camel's back. In terms
Yeah,
of
I mean
Reeves'
that's
stay in this
unacceptable.
lineup. Yeah,
It's unacceptable.
I think either Tree Living, like they're gonna make changes. And we're gonna see Reeves out of the lineup. I hope at
And
least
what's
like
stupid
soon.
is I saw people on like Twitter and Reddit saying like, "Oh, Reeves shouldn't be the only one doing it." Like when the Liljegren thing
Oh,
happened,
I
it shouldn't
agree.
be. And that's 100% true.
Yeah.
But then like, what's the point of him? If other
Hmm.
people are doing it, we don't need Reeves.
Yeah, I thought his whole point
Then what's
is
the
to
point of him?
rally
Yeah,
the
like
troops and get them
if he's
going, right?
not if he's not getting anyone going, if he's not fighting, what is the point
Yeah.
of Ryan Reeves? He's 36 years old. He's never been good. He's a horrible skater. He's not good offensively. He's not good defensively. He's not good in transition. Where do you fucking play him? And I liked him those first two games because he did something.
Hmm.
If he's not doing something, it's 7 minutes where you're essentially on the PK, just
Yeah,
shelled.
my point or my stance on Reeves like prior to that Bruins game was, hey, like even if you're not able to play this guy in the lineup day in day out or whatnot, he can be like a pseudo Simmons where you have him brought in into the lineup during games you know is going to get chippy, right? After that Bruins game, no, he's gone. Come on, forget about it. He's out. Um, if there's any other questions, guys, make sure you throw them down. Um, but yeah, I think was there anything else you kind of wanted to talk about, get off your chest, Armand? I mean, this was a absolutely horrible game. So I know there's a lot of emotions.
Learn how to fucking hold a goddamn momentum. Like
Uh-huh.
after a goal, you should not be giving up another goal every fucking minute. It's
Hmm.
stupid, and that's on Keefe partially. That's on like everything. Like it just
Who he deploys right
yeah.
after a goal. Yeah.
I don't get why Keefe was extended before the season started. I'll say that as well. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Well, I
Stupid.
mean, if you don't extend him, you got essentially like a dead goose there, right? Where you know the team basically sees him as a non-threat. That
Yeah, but
this guy already has one foot out the door, right? I'm fine
yeah, he
with
doesn't.
them
Yeah,
over.
whatever.
I'm
I'm
fine with
just
them paying it.
pissed.
Like, yeah, I'm fine with them paying it because let's be honest, MLSE can definitely like pay that. They have no problems with that. They have no money problems, but yeah, like I really wanted to see a coaching change and we didn't. They,
Yeah.
it's stupid. It sucks. We didn't even see any changes realistically with our lineup, our look on the team. It's pretty much the same team minus Dubas.
Also, we lost all of our physicality in the second period and third period, which
Mm-hmm.
is the moment we needed it. We were playing well in the first period.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't necessarily need all that physicality, although it's good. But like when the going gets tough, we've talked about this team's shitty, stupid mentality. The only person out there that was doing things was like Auston Matthews and the core four. And like I don't blame them. They're not out there to throw hits and do all that. It would be nice if they did, but they
Mhm,
scored goals. They did their job.
mhm.
Everyone else, like, do something. Get some energy. Like, it looked awful. It looked awful, man. I was so upset with this game.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a tough. It sucks. Like, how many games did we lose in a row now? Like, we're on a massive skid. And our next game is against the Lightning of all teams on Monday. There was a clip that the broadcast brought up of like
Yeah.
one of the Lightning guys getting nailed, and the entire lineup was
And
out
we're
on
talking about
his
Point,
ass.
Stamkos, skilled guys. Even in last year's playoffs when Riley hit Point,
Yeah.
Kucherov was the guy to come and get in Riley's face.
Well,
And
that's when you have guys that actually are willing to defend and show the snot, right? Not just show it on a paycheck and call it a day, right? That's a
but
change. That's a mentality then. And yeah, the Leafs are gonna play up against that on Monday.
I
Let's
don't even
see
know what to
how
say about this
they
team.
yeah, let's see how they do. Because honestly, the last couple of games absolutely disappointed. This game absolutely disappointed. All I can
Yeah,
hope for is a better showing on Monday, right?
yep.
Well, with that, I think that's going to do it here from us. There are a ton of people in the chat today. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. Show us something good after a shitty game like this. We had to watch the entire thing, make notes on this, and half of my notes were just, "Goddamn, what are they doing?"
Mine is like a bunch of like all caps. Like, what the
Anger.
fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, I would screen share and show it, but I don't think that's that would be a good idea because there's so many swear words. But yeah, that's gonna do it here from us. Thank you guys for all the people who have stayed through and watched from the beginning. We appreciate you guys. It's a late night. Have a great rest of your night. And hopefully the Leafs show you something better because god damn it, we deserve a
Need
better
something
showing.
positive right now. Like
Yeah,
it. This
we
is
deserve
as
something
low
better.
as I've been on the team in a while,
hmm
which
hmm
is saying something.
Yeah. Well, there's always next game. But my name's Harnish. You can find me Harnish_Patel on X. Armaan, go for it. Where can the people find you?
At Armaan Pantiki on Twitter as well. I'm not calling it X.
I got some people that on the chat that are like, "Isn't it X now?" And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, no, we
all right,
don't we
I'll call
don't
it
accept
X."
that.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.